You're probably thinking right now, have you gone mad, Rob? How can you possibly compare Cyberpunk 2077 with DayZ 1, a game that came out at the end of 2020, that needs high-end PC to run well, that looks absolutely stunning, photorealistic at times, that is based around a futuristic city and its environments where you have cybernetically enhanced humans in an RPG story-driven environment? How can you compare that with DayZ, a game that came out in 2013 that occasionally, come on, we've got to be honest, sometimes it kind of looks like an Xbox 360 game, doesn't it? Really, which is just simply open world. There's no storyline, there's no quest to follow, there's little leveling up of your character beyond gaining some soft skills that maybe don't do much. There isn't even an in-game map that you can bring up, that you can kind of put pointers down, and the only the only goal really in DayZ is to survive. How can you compare those two? Well, after playing an awful lot of DayZ on PC and console, and now a fair bit of Cyberpunk, over 50 hours worth, completing the main story and doing lots of the side missions, I've got to say, they may well be more similar than you'd expect. And if you're into DayZ, you may well find Cyberpunk interesting. And the other way round as well. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you, they are very different games and very, very different experiences. But there are some things that are common to both. So the first thing, I guess, is that they're both based really kind of in an open world environment. In Cyberpunk, once you get past the first kind of bit of the story, you can go anywhere you want in Night City. And it's not just Night City, it's the surrounding environment as well. So you've got the Badlands all around the area. It's similar in DayZ, you've got Chernerus, you've got Livonia, you've got all the custom maps we've got, where there's no restrictions. You can just wander off and get yourself into trouble and do your own thing. And with both of the games, they both have incredibly immersive environments. So DayZ with Chernerus and Livonia, especially Chernerus, is based around real world locations in the Czech Republic, as far as the buildings and the topography and the geography of everything, and it feels like a real place. You're wandering through the countryside, and the way that the hills are and the roads are and the towns and the villages feels like a real world. What's the apart from the fact that there's no people apart from the infected kind of zombie-like, and then other real players that you bump into and want to kill you. But what's amazing about Cyberpunk is that CD Projekt Red have done this for a city with people in it, with vehicles driving around, kind of in a similar way to Grand Theft Auto does, where you can just stroll through the streets of Night City in Cyberpunk and just enjoy how immersive it is. Now, you don't have to worry about a zombie running up and trying to eat you, or another player trying to kill you, because Cyberpunk obviously is single player only. Well, at the moment it is. I guess if you run into some bad guys, they might well attack you, but it's quite a rare thing. But in both games, you can just wander along and enjoy the environments. And I think both games are a work of art, works of genius, you could say, in terms of the environment in their open worlds. With DayZ, it's with Chernerus and the countryside and the trees and everything. And with Cyberpunk, it's Night City. And the fact that you can walk through this, at times, Blade Runner type environment that looks absolutely stunning and is absolutely so immersive. So with both games, the environment is kind of the big point of difference. Another thing is the fact that both games are ongoing projects. If you're familiar with DayZ, you know that ever since 2013, this game has been developing and developing and developing, and it's still developing. It's got quite a small team on it, but they're going to do 4 updates this year. We'll see how big they will be, but the game has continual development, and it's going somewhere. And Cyberpunk is definitely the right way. When Cyberpunk released, it wasn't ready. It probably should have never been released on last-gen consoles. It's only recently, with the 1.5 update at the end of February 2022, that the game is in a really good place. And probably this 1.5 update is what the release version of the game should be. So they should have delayed it another year and a bit, I think. But there's much more to go. You know, just as DayZ has lots of missing mechanics in it that we would like to see working, whether that be helicopters or boats, or a working progression system for characters. Cyberpunk needs to have maybe the subway put into it. It needs to have other areas opened up. It needs to have the AI and the NPCs made better, so that the police, if you do something wrong, if you run over someone in your car or you shoot a civilian, the police should come after you like they do in Grand Theft Auto, and chase you down, maybe with cars and flying vehicles as well. And the joy of being in a game where it is on a development path is really cool. It is going along for the ride with the developers, both with DayZ and CD Projekt, with DayZ Bohemia Interactive and CD Projekt Red with Cyberpunk 2077. So I think finally the really common thing between both games is that the best is yet to come. You can enjoy both games; they're both at the best they've ever been. And yet there's more to come. Who knows what might be round the corner. Actually, there's one final thing I'd like to say as well. Actually, about CD Projekt Red Cyberpunk 2077, is that although it is a single player game, don't be fooled into thinking it's just about playing the campaign, playing the story and then finishing it. Because not only does it have 3 different characters you can play through it as, not only can you choose multiple different endings and different paths through the game, not only does it have dozens and dozens of side missions and gigs and jobs that you can do as well, the world itself generates simple missions as you're going around. So they both have that open-ended side to it, and fingers crossed CD Projekt Red will introduce more of that into Cyberpunk, so it can be more like a DayZ experience, where DayZ, you get into it and you just start surviving and building bases and gathering weapons together. Maybe we'll see more of that in Cyberpunk. So there we go, Cyberpunk and DayZ, more similar than you'd think. And I'm pretty sure if you're interested in one, you'll definitely be interested in the other. Anyway, that's enough from me. What do you think? Put your questions and comments down below. If you like the video, hit like. If you want to see more of the same, press subscribe, and we'll of course see you again soon.